I have the opportunity now to visit one of my most favorite musicians in the world, someone I've admired and respected for over 50 years of my musical life, because not only is he one of the greatest musicians in the world, he's one of the most wonderful people in the world, a jazz educator, a man who believed in diversity from the very beginning, a man who played with Count Basie and Duke Ellington. Not many musicians can say that. My homie, Clark Terry, welcome to I Love Jazz.
Yeah, thank you very much, Don. I'm very, very pleased and very happy to be here and flattered to be here.
A thrill, really, for all of us in the St. Louis area, because I've been saying for years that we can't have a St. Louis Jazz Festival without Clark Terry. It wouldn't be a St. Louis Jazz Festival if Clark Terry weren't a part of it.
Oh, well, thank you very kindly. It's very sweet of you.
And I think it's time that the people of St. Louis said thank you to Clark Terry, who has represented this city in a most admirable and respectable fashion, more so than any other musician who's come out of this area. And you and I both know we've had some wonderful musicians come out of St. Louis.
Yes, indeed. I'm very flattered, and I thank you very kindly, Don.
Well, I've been a fan of yours, Clark, not only of your music, but of you as a person, and I have followed you all these years. First, let me ask you, how are you feeling?
Well, I'm feeling good now. I've had problems, as we all have, you know, and as the saying goes, I'm not complaining, I'm just explaining.
As somebody who had the opportunity to play with both the great Duke Ellington and the great Count Basie, as you look back on your career, were they among your most treasured moments?
Absolutely, two of my favorite bands, yeah. They were two different people and very highly remembered and respected for different things. Basie was a little more of a mother wit man, you know, but of course Ellington was more learned than Basie.
And after playing in both of those bands, you've done so many other wonderful things. What are some of your favorite moments in such a distinguished career?
Well, almost everything I've been involved in, I find traces of Ellington and Basie there. Mm-hmm. You find it all over the place. And I feel I'm very, very happy to have been a part of both of those bands, because it prepared me to meet whatever's going to be ahead for you in the world of jazz.
You know, one of the things I've respected most about you in your career is your inclusiveness, your diversity. You were one of the first musicians that allowed women equal opportunity to participate. You know that?
Thank you. I found some very good playing chicks, you know.
And you grew up in a time when this country was divided by segregation and racism, and yet you weathered that storm and came out on top. Any favorite stories from all of that?
Well, I got a book coming out very shortly. I don't know what they're going to call it, but we have a little problem trying to get it published, because they say it's too much about my early life, and then they wanted to hear more, the publisher wanted to hear more about my professional career. But I said, I just figured that they could find that out, but they can't find out anything about my personal early life unless I tell it to them. So that's what I indulge my time in, tell them about it. But there's some very interesting things that happened during my lifetime. I'm very happy to say I was there.
And I know you are happily married and have been for so many years, and family's been important to you.
Yes, indeed. My lovely wife, Gwen, she's on the ball. She's fantastic.
Well, she's probably your biggest supporter. I probably am your number two supporter.
Thank you so much.
Well, I wanted to take the opportunity on behalf of all of us here in St. Louis to thank you. And you're going to be honored tomorrow night. I hope you don't mind that. But
I'm looking forward to
our
it.
president, Henry Givens, is going to present you with a very rare and distinguished honor. And it's going to be our small way of saying thank you for representing this city in the way that you have. Such a respected musician all of these years, such a distinguished career. You must be very proud.
I'm very, very proud, and I'm very thankful. And I'd like to say thanks to all my fellow St. Louisans.
Yeah, we have a statue here of you in the African American
Oh, yeah.
Museum. Remember that? I was there when they unveiled that particular likeness of you.
My own shoes and my own socks and underwear and tie and all that, and tuxedo.
I'm going to let you go because I promised I wouldn't keep you long, but I got to ask you before I let you go because so many people out there know you as Mumbles. You want to tell us how Mumbles happened?
Well, in St. Louis, my hometown, which is here, there's all sorts of little joints. There were all sorts of little joints that each one of them was supplied with an upright piano, and they had a piano player. And it was customary for customers to come to these clubs because they would have an opportunity to have a drink or two, and they all thought they could sing. So they would ask the piano, play something. They'd buy him a stand of beer, put it on the top of the piano, and his piano top was triply laminated. It was loaded with stands of beer. And as you guzzle the beer down, you make a little introduction, and if you want to sing, you can sing about anything you want to sing about. So I decided I would sing a song about nothing.
Well, you made it sound like something.
So I had fun doing it, and the people enjoyed it.
So they want me to ask you, what did all that mumbling mean?
Well, I'll tell you what it means. It meant what it still means, what it did mean. It's the finest klang van de Harris-Stowe, je spielen kan het doen. But it's the klang, het de pattern met de hingeldaal, in the squeeze with the shoulder sound. Now we sound it wrong, in the punch sound, if you will know the sound, but she was on, if you will go, it's as we say 7 down.
And I love you too. That's my homie, Clark Terry. I'm Don Wolff, and I love jazz, and I know you do too.
Thank you. Thanks so much.